Hey everyone, it's Still Guts in Tennessee here. Um, Today I'm going to sort of cover the garage. One of the most common things I see in the clan chat from new players to the game, asking about equipment and skills and perks, what they need to do with their crews. So, kind of thought I would go over all of that. So, touch on two things in the settings first. In the general tab, we have our battle types. So, about 3,000 battles into playing this game, I realized that just playing the way I was playing and running up in there and shooting and getting killed was not the way to really play the game. So I had to relearn it, and I watched a lot of videos, read a lot of stuff, watched some live streams from Unicoms, and sadly I probably spent well over 100 hours or more easily of research, and I'm an IT guy. I do research, just what I do. So when I started to relearn this game, I turned all these off. The standard battle is what everybody knows. Each team has a base. And to learn this game, you got to learn the maps. Each map has its own significant areas that you need to control, that you get fire on other areas, things like that. So I turned these off so I could learn the game. And I suggest newer players maybe do that too, because the encounter battles are the single base. It's the same maps, but it changes the strategy on the map. So that's why I suggest just leaving it off for now. Learn the game in just the standard mode. So you only got to learn one general principle of how to play each map and then move on to the others. I leave this one turned off. This is the one where one team is defending a base, the other team's assaulting a base. It only has a 10-minute timer, and it's skewed towards the defenders. So as long as one defender survives, also capping takes twice as long to cap their base. So it's skewed towards them to win the game. So I've turned it off. It's up to you. The other thing are the mini map view rings, and I'll try to cover them real quick here. You should know what these are, but they should all be turned on. It's going to show your view range, the first circle. If it's not the maximum view range, which is the second circle, 445, then it will be there. But if you have 445 meters of view range in your tank or beyond, you will not see the first circle. The first circle and the second circle will be the same at 445 meters. So you cannot spot anything on your own beyond the second circle, 445 meters. So even if you have 11 trillion view range, they got to get to 445 meters for you to be able to see them. The third ring is around 590 meters, I believe. You can't spot anybody there, but if an enemy is spotted, they will show up for you. You can aim at them and shoot them. And if they're beyond the last ring, they can still be spotted by your teammates. And you can still aim, but you won't see them. You'll just have to aim at them at the ground, beside a building, wherever it is you think they are, and line up with them and try to shoot them. And that's how that works. So make sure those are turned on, because those need to become something you're aware of as you're playing the game, because you need to use your strengths, which hopefully after you've listened to this and running medium tanks and light tanks and tank destroyers, you'll learn your strengths are your vision and your camo, and keep your enemy in a range to where you can control the engagement over a distance and keep spotting them, letting your team hit them, and you maybe too as well. It'd be nice, but ultimately win the game. So that being said, I guess first of all, just sort of want to touch on the vision and camo and how it works in the game. And hopefully you already know this. There's some great videos out there from Wargaming. World of Tanks has their own out there that illustrate this very well, about how you spot people, the view ranges, and the camo and how it works. So I'm going to sort of break it down here real quick. So let's say a Chaffee with the coated optics, 100% crew, I think is 438 view range. So my Chaffee with everything I have and my really nice crew in it, I have 34% camo. So if you're in your Chaffee and you have 438 meters view range, you will not see me until I'm 289 meters from you. So even if you had the exact same view range, my Chaffee has 494 view range. I'm sorry, if you had the exact same camo, then I can see 494. You got the 34% camo too, which knocks 167 meters off of that, but still I would see you 327 meters away. You don't see me till I'm 289, and that's strictly vision. We both have the exact same camo. So take into account a heavy tank. So you got a heavy tank, only has like 10% camo, and you have maximum view range of 445. You won't see them till they're 401 meters away. So in my Chaffee, again, with 494, that same 10% knocks off about 50. So I should see them at 455, but remember, you cannot see anything beyond 445. So at 445, that heavy tank would show up. And here's just a Cromwell. So, in my Cromwell, I can see 458 meters, and a base Cromwell has 20% camo. So a base Cromwell without any camo skills, I'll see them 367 meters away. So this is how it works. And I wanted to illustrate that, make sure everybody kind of understands how that works, because everything I'm going to tell you is based off that. Because from what I've learned from advice from great players is vision and camo are your top priorities. DPM is too, damage per minute, but not as much as this vision is, especially medium, light, and tank destroyers. So we'll take care of DPM with tank rammers. So everybody's going to get a tank rammer pretty much. If you're a medium tank or a tank destroyer, you're going to want a gun rammer. It takes 10% off your load time, increases your DPM. You're going to want vents, because vents increase everything for your crew. Your load time goes down, your vision goes up, your camo goes up. It helps everything. And then you want vision, so we want coated optics on medium tanks. And we'll just stick with medium tanks. On medium tanks, you always want the coated optics. You don't want binoculars, because you have to sit still for 3 to 5 seconds before they kick in. And you're just on the move too much in a medium tank. You're not the one to go, oh, I got to stop for 4 seconds now just to see if I see somebody. So we use coated optics. On a tank destroyer, I'm going to grab my Hellcat, I guess. So I did the tank rammer, because I want that extra, reload time to go away. And then I've got a camouflage net and binoculars, because I'm not running around all over the place trying to find things. I'm going to find a good spot in some bushes somewhere, and I'm going to sit there and snipe people. So I'm going to be sitting around, so it's going to give time for my binoculars and my camo net to engage. So see, on my Hellcat, it's got a 50% camo. So these camo values are when you're stationary and when you're moving, and then when you fire your gun in each situation. So if my Hellcat's sitting still, Camo Net has engaged, I have 50% camo. So if you can see 445 meters, you could drive up on me sitting out in the open and you wouldn't see me till I was 225 meters from you. So that's kind of how that works. So of course on the move, not as good, because the Camo Net doesn't help at all there. And these little features here, when you hover and it breaks down everything, is new to this version 9.17.1. Really nice, because it kind of breaks down how everything helps you and kind of what you're missing. Because like on this tank, I don't have Brothers in Arms on this crew, so it tells me I'm missing that Brothers in Arms can help this value that I'm hovering over. Same way with the view range. See, everything gets broken down, and see, I don't have coated optics on this tank, and I don't have Brothers in Arms, so it tells me there, I could do that. If I'm really concerned with my spotting, I could add those things. So then on a light tank, I don't do binoculars typically on a light tank. I do the coated optics and the vents, because I'm not just going to sit around probably. I'm probably going to be on the move more. And another piece of advice that I heard on all these Unicoms talking about is vertical stabilizers. If they're ever available on a tank, you always use them. So it's 20% more accurate when you're moving. So I have that. If I didn't have vertical stabilizers available, I might pick binoculars here. So if I did sit still somewhere, it would extend my view range. So my view range right now is 494. If I put binoculars on here, I would have to take the 10%, the coated optics, because the binoculars don't use the coated optics. But then it would kick in. So the view range becomes like 540 meters or something if I had binoculars on here. And remember, you can't see beyond 445, but remember, we're eating away people's camo values. So you're going to make people show up a lot faster with binoculars on if you're wanting to be a stationary scout somewhere. So just to keep in mind. So as far as equipment, that's pretty much the standard layouts for all of my mediums, all of my lights, or all of my tank destroyers. And I typically don't drive turretless tank destroyers, so all of mine have turrets. So I guess next we'll talk about, sorry about this, it's not like narrating a battle in motion where I see what's happening and stuff. So we're gonna, I guess the food too. I use the food consumables on just about everything. So, and they're nation based, which sucks because you gotta buy them for the tanks you're playing. So Coke for the Americans, tea and pudding for the British, and just food rations, extra combat rations for the Russian. So 3 to 4 times a year, Wargaming puts these on sale at half price, 10,000 silver, and I buy just a buttload of them to try to keep them in stock. So it's just, I can't hardly pay 20,000 a battle for them, and I'm almost out of them. I got 7. I hope they put it on sale soon. But that helps everything. So if you hover back over these, you see in my view range, my combat rations added 20 meters to my view range. If I go look at my reload time, the combat rations took 0.2 of a second off my reload time. So damage per minute, it added 94 damage per minute. So it's actually more effective than Brothers in Arms, because you can see here Brothers in Arms adds 43 damage to my damage per minute. So the combat rations added almost double that, or actually more than double that. So buy it on sale, get it stocked up, and use it. And it's just going to make your tank so much better. And you got to be better to have a chance to do better, to have a chance to win. So that's kind of how all this works. All right, so I'm going to show something real quick here. Oh, I added that again. The tank comparison tool. This is new to this version 2, which is really nice. I use it to compare tanks because I don't play every tank. You know, if I want some tier 7 mediums, I go compare all the tier 7 mediums and decide which ones I like. For me, it's got to have a good turret. It's got to be somewhat mobile at least, and at least average to above average DPM. So I don't care if its hull isn't that great, because I can get hull down sometimes maybe. Like I said, we try to control our engagement. We want our gun to be somewhat accurate. So I only pick certain tanks that I play. I free XP through whatever I need to get to tanks I want. I don't play tanks that I just inherently don't like. So, but I kind of threw these together here to show. Y'all can pause this if you want at some point. I'm not going to sit here and hover over it. But you basically have my Cromwell with my good crew and all my stuff. You have a Cromwell with 100% crew, the same equipment, and a Cromwell base with 100% crew. Same way with the Chaffies, and I added that by mistake. So mine with everything, 100% crew with the same equipment and 100% crew base. So you can sort of see, you know, how things change, like view range, things like that. So like I said, if you want to sort of look at the differences here, you can pause it. I'm not going to hover here and stay here and waste time. So I'm going to talk about, I guess, your crew skills real quick here. So there's different ways to get your crew skills. I'm willing to spend gold. So I train my guys on skills they can use while they train. And then, so like my commander, I trained him on recon, because that's view range. Radio operator was situational awareness, very first ones. All the other guys were concealment, very first ones I trained on, because their first skill is going to go fast. And your skills kick into play immediately. As soon as you pick them, they have this pretty nice influence on whatever you're doing. So concealment would be your camo values and stuff, and the other two for vision would affect your vision. And then they slowly go up till they reach 100. And then I spend gold and I retrain. My commander gets 6 cents, and I start over with recon again. And then when I get to my third skill, I retrain them all. I do Brothers in Arms, 6 cents for my commander, recon again, and do that. But I'm always concerned with vision, and camo is always the first skill I need to pick to help my crews out. So And then beyond that, you can deal with things with your tank. So like I kept getting ammo racked in my Cromwell. So I went back and gave safe stowage to him as a perk, so it won't come into effect till it's 100%, and then retrained him on his concealment. So you'll kind of have to look at each tank. I remember I think the VK3001P caught on fire all the time, so I had to run like a CO2 in my one of my equipment slots while I trained my crew up, and then I put my uh, driver with preventive maintenance, which helps prevent fires and stuff, and then I was able to drop the CO2 and put something else on vents or whatever I had to drop. So, each tank's a little different, and you'll only know by playing it. I didn't realize the VK caught on fire until I was playing it and kept catching on fire, and you just have to deal with that. So, I guess that about covers everything. I'm sure I missed a lot, and I probably wasn't clear on some stuff, but I tried to not just make this really, really long. So if you have any questions, of course, if you're one of my clanmates or whatever, hit me up when we're in the game somewhere, and we can chat and get a platoon and talk. So, and anybody else, leave comments if you want. Hit the like buttons. At least it tells me somebody's seen it and likes it. Makes me happy at least. And if you want to subscribe. I'm going to continue to try to do more things like this, and hopefully share what little knowledge I've learned and will continue to learn with everybody else. So have fun tanking, guys.